Good evening, basketball fans, wherever you may be. Welcome to the NBA Finals.
Portland and Chicago. It was almost inevitable. They were the favorites in November, and now they meet in June.
We're all ready for this game, and the noise level here at the stadium will soon be earth-shattering.
It will be the great Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls going against Clyde Drexler and the rest of the Portland Trailblazers. Everybody wanted this series. Now it's here. It's a match made in heaven.
What time is it?
You have any questions at all? Just play the game. We'll referee. Have a good game, guys. Have a good series.
In this corner, Michael Jordan, and across from him, Clyde Drexler.
Playing against Drexler. He always wanted the shootout.
The stage was set for the 1992 NBA Finals, and as Game 1 got underway, it looked as if it was Drexler's Trailblazers who were better prepared to seize the moment. The explosive quintet from the Northwest came out of the gate on fire.
So Portland beginning to fly all over the court. Here comes Drexler. Yes, and it counts. 21-15, Portland. Porter with the open shot. And the Blazers have hit their first 7 field goal attempts.
You haven't got in rhythm yet. You gotta keep pushing, find your rhythm.
What was to unfold from, and it would qualify as such before the first half was through.
Jordan with the steal, eluding Ainge. Yes.
Don't hold, Clyde. Let's go, babe.
Now Jordan posting up. Goes to the fadeaway. Through the foul. It counts. Jordan eluding Robinson. Yes.
Come on, let's go. Come on, we need a spurt here. We gotta defend them. Let's go. We gotta get back and defend them. We gotta get good shots out here.
Did Clyde Drexler feel the momentum shift? If so, it was barely perceptible as the second quarter began. The Bulls had taken only a 3-point lead, but Michael Jordan had begun to feel the offensive rhythm his coach had sought, and Drexler was determined to throw it off.
Lost the dribble off his foot. 3-on-2 for the Blazers. Drexler all the way.
Jordan was unconcerned. He had found his rhythm and his touch. But what would transpire over the next 10 minutes of play was noteworthy not only for the accuracy of Jordan's shots, but also for their range. Three-pointers had never been the hallmark of his game, but the opportunities were there, and he seized them.
Jordan for 3. There's Pippen setting up Jordan wide open for another 3.
He said to Phil, do you see what's happening? And he said, yeah. We couldn't believe it.
Boy, when you're hot, and when you're not, you're not. And that young fella is hot.
I remember being on the floor during that half and a couple times catching the ball well beyond the three-point line and looking to the weak side and seeing Michael there and just throwing it to him, and it was, it just was an instinct. You could tell he knew they were going in that night.
Pippen, 2 men to beat, right for the basket. Follow Michael Jordan. Jordan with his magic carpet threw it down. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. The crowd is in a frenzy here.
It was a night that was memorable. I mean, not just because he made the threes, but because he kept taking, and the opportunity for him to kind of try to finish Portland off early in the game, which is something that Michael loved.
3-pointers from Jordan. What in the world is going on? Jordan by another three. Oh, no! I don't believe it.
That is an NBA Finals record. 5 3-pointers in a half. Here's Jordan for 3. Yes! Did you see that look?
I remember looking over to the NBC table after he'd made maybe his 5th or 6th in the first half and kind of shrugging his shoulders. Because even Michael, as great as he was, knew that was something special.
Michael indicating he can't believe it.
He feels it. There's nothing else he can say other than the man feels it and lets us know. This is the greatest performance maybe ever in the single half, playoffs, or in the history of this league.
The rest, as they say, is history. The Chicago Bulls went on to defeat the Trailblazers handily in Game 1 and then went on to win the 1992 NBA championship. And on the way, the legend of Michael Jordan grew. It now was measurable by distance as well as by hang time. He had long defied gravity. In this game, he showed he could defy logic as well.
What a start for the defending world champions of the NBA.
I started running for that three-point line. I felt a great rhythm. It felt like a free throw, really, from that distance.
The only thing you could just sit back and say, ah, and wow, and ooh, just like a little kid out there, everything he threw up, he hit.
He was hot, and we all knew it. He knew it, and he just was going to go out there. I don't think he was going to miss from 2, from 3, or from half court range. He just had that feeling.
And so, after a series that brought us one of Michael Jordan's greatest games, he and the Bulls celebrated their second NBA championship. It was a scene that would be repeated 4 more times in the years ahead. The mountains of Salt Lake City, Utah, framed the setting as Michael Jordan stepped on the floor in a Bulls uniform for the last time in Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals, striving once again to reach basketball's mountaintop.
In Michael's mind, he knew when that series began it was going to be his final dance as an NBA player.
The Jazz respected Jordan, and they had earned his respect by taking 2 games in the finals. In the early going of Game 6,
Scottie Pippen pulled his back out on that dunk shot.
There's an obvious truth.
As the game's momentum shifted with nearly every shot.
Stockton out, a crowd twist, underhand scoop. What a shot by Karl Malone. 29 for Karl Malone. Michael Jordan down low right. Down to you, backcourt. Jordan there. Jordan with 33 points.
Left side for Chicago. Jordan with it now. He's got it.
Michael's in the zone.
In his last NBA Finals, Michael Jordan was focused on winning his 6th championship with the Bulls. But a hunger also burned deep within the Jazz, who were determined to win their first NBA title.
Now back to the mailman. Karl base left. 12-footer. The mailman.
The more time that passes, the more I look back at that last second shot at Utah in Game 6 that ended that series. It's just total fairy tale. It just had to end that way. Utah, last second, hold the pose. I just couldn't make it up. If I did it for Hollywood, they would just laugh at it because it's just too neat, too perfect a way to end it.
In 1995, Jordan's comeback became the season's marquee attraction in New York as the Bulls paid a visit to the Knicks.
It's the magical, mystical Jordan Road Tour, 1995.
I didn't want to come in with the intensity so high that I couldn't meet it because I've been away from the game for 18 months.
Michael comes back to New York City. He loves playing in this gym.
And as he made his return to the Garden, Michael found a familiar foe was waiting for him.
Prior to his premature retirement, nobody guarded Michael Jordan straight up better than John Starks.
Now Starks would have another chance to display his defense against Jordan. But it was clear from the beginning that on this night, there would be no stopping Michael.
Michael Jordan has the jump shot falling here tonight.
That first quarter, I knew we had something going. When I started hitting all the jump shots, and I could read Starks' every move. I basically had him at my disposal in a sense.
They're going to keep going to the well with Jordan and Starks. My, oh my. It was like Starks wasn't even there.
And he continued his onslaught from just about everywhere on the court.
Jordan off the turnover. Puts the move on Starks. Yes, and it counts. Michael Jordan with his most spectacular basket of the half.
In just the 5th game of his comeback, he was already looking like the Jordan of old.
So I came in with some low expectations, and next thing you know, they grew to be huge expectations.
And here's the post-up by Jordan. Off the spin!
Could he have made that look any easier?
And did you ask, is he back? Oh, come on!
Michael was clearly enjoying his command performance on Broadway, but his arch rivals were intent on stealing the show. Starks and the Knicks, rising to the occasion, kept the game close in the second half. But as it turned out, Jordan had been just getting started. Down the stretch, he elevated his play even higher, making one shot after another.
Michael Jordan with 49 points as this third quarter winds down. And Michael Jordan with 51 points.
That's the record of the most points scored against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden.
53 points for Michael Jordan.
Jordan working on Starks. Got him in the air. Michael Jordan has 55. He had to work for them.
With the score tied in the final seconds, the Knicks had no doubts as to who would get the call for Chicago. Jordan had 55 points already, and New York crafted their strategy to stop him on the final play. But Michael had always possessed a keen sense of drama, and in this, his return to center stage, he gave the audience a surprise ending.
Michael finds the open man. Whittington with a jam. 3.1 remaining. Timeout, New York. That was outstanding.
But even Jordan had to admit that the game's finish was not exactly what he had had in mind.
You know, I'd be lying if I said I came out to pass the ball. You know, I came out here to score, and I was going to make them stop me.
There are some players that are simply unique and transcend every aspect of the game, and he's the only one in the history of this game that's had the impact that he's had. He got it started the other night against Atlanta, and he just sort of building up to New York.
Jordan would face one of his greatest challenges in the 1997 finals. With the series against Utah tied at 2 games apiece, Michael had more to overcome than just the Jazz.
Now the big story here tonight concerning Michael Jordan's physical conditions. He is suffering from flu-like symptoms. His status is uncertain.
The bad news for the Bulls, the stomach virus that has hit Michael Jordan, and you wonder just how much, how long, and how hard he'll be able to go.
In his weakened condition, Jordan was up against league MVP Karl Malone, the confident Jazz, and the raucous crowd in Utah.
I don't know if Michael can carry the Bulls on the road against the Jazz.
And on this night, it seemed that carrying the Bulls would be too heavy a load, as Michael's illness had clearly taken a toll. Meanwhile, Utah was only growing stronger. Having won games 3 and 4, the Jazz continued their surge. Exploding out of the gate, they raced to a 16-point lead in the second quarter.
Stockton looking, whipped inside, Malone goes up, counts, and a foul.
Everything clicking right now for Utah.
In this pivotal contest, all signs were pointing to a Utah victory that would put them in command of the series. But while Jordan was still drained, he was finding the strength to persevere, and through sheer determination, he would keep Chicago in the game.
MJ against Russell to the free throw line, hangs in the air, jumper good.
Oh, shot.
Nothing but net for Michael.
Bad pass, lost the handle. Here's Jordan, comes down on Hornacek, goes to the glass. Driving layup for Michael.
Throughout his career, Michael Jordan had delivered many brilliant performances, but he had never been more courageous than in this crucial game. Though his stomach was ravaged by flu, he was displaying enormous heart as he continued to lead the Bulls' comeback.
A heroic performance by Michael Jordan.
But battling his illness and the Jazz proved to be an exhausting task for Jordan. And each time he faltered, Utah was ready to take full advantage.
Russell's open on Bushler. Slam! Oh! A big-time slam. Utah will take a lead in intermission.
But while the Bulls still trailed, Jordan would grow even more determined in the second half.
Really, in between every possession, when there was a dead ball, you could just see it on his face how drained he was. But then when the play would start, he'd summon something from within.
Here's Jordan. Jordan looks in over Russell, faces the basket, keeps it. 7 on the shot, over the top of him, yes! Michael Jordan continues to blaze away, illness or not.
Michael Jordan.
For all of Michael's heroics, Chicago was still facing an uphill battle as the Jazz seemed to have an answer for every Bull run.
Bad pass, knocked away, but Malone runs it down with a good hustle. Anderson, baseline, a slam.
But each time Utah threatened to pull away, the ailing Jordan would rise to the challenge, and throughout the second half, he kept the Bulls within striking distance.
Shot clock at 7. Jordan shooting. Yes.
Michael just laboring to get back to that defensive end, just trying to get to the finish line.
Still, Karl Malone was carrying the Jazz down the stretch, and the question remained, would Michael have enough strength to lift Chicago to victory?
Sweat just pouring off Michael Jordan. No time to rest now. Here is Jordan outside. Chicago down 3. Puts it down, drives the lane, a running 8-footer. Yes!
Jordan had become an inspiration to his teammates, and his remarkable effort had led the Bulls all the way back. They had finally pulled even with the Jazz as Game 5 entered its waning minutes. Control of the game and the series was now up for grabs, and it appeared that Utah was ready to seize the opportunity.
Loose ball, picked up by Hornacek, no whistle, shot clock 2, Stockton, 3 for the lead, another huge 3 by Stockton.
With little left to draw upon but his will, Michael would try to make one final push. The score was tied with less than a minute left to play, and Jordan was the focus of attention. Could he deliver yet again?
And all eyes here are going to be on Michael Jordan. On top, Pippen wants it, wants to go on Hornacek, demanded the ball, back Michael, open 3, yes! They lead it, 38 points for the Kings. Stuck a dagger at him with a 3, yes!
A courageous, classic performance by the flu-ridden Michael Jordan.
Propelled by their victory, the Bulls would go on to win the championship in Game 6, and Michael Jordan had added perhaps the most amazing chapter to his playoff legend.
It's all about desire. You just got to come out here and do what you got to do. We wanted it real bad, you know, and me as a leader, I had to come out and do my best. Somehow I found the energy. Just stay strong. I wanted it really bad.
The effort that he gave us today was unbelievable. You know, as his teammates, you know, we should have stepped up and played much better basketball, but we really appreciate the way that he steps up and shows his leadership to our ball club. There's something inside of him that allowed him to compete when he probably shouldn't have. That was a game that a lot of guys would have probably just bailed on it. And he was just able to rise above how he felt and accept what he had to do, and he did it.
I didn't want to give up. You know, no matter how sick I was, how tired I was, how low on energy I was, I felt the obligation, you know, to my team, to the city of Chicago to go out and give that extra effort.